Oil prices rise as investors look forward to U.S. rate cuts. And Asia stocks move lower as China trims rates and U.S. president steps aside. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into today's top market headlines from around the globe, where oil prices climbed in Asia lately amid speculation over potential U.S. rate cuts starting as early as September. The Brent crude futures rose by 32 cents to $82.95 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures increased by 34 cents to $80.47. Now let's turn our attention to the performance of Asian markets, where shares continued their decline earlier despite China's surprise 10 basis points rate cut aimed at reducing long-term borrowing costs and bond yields. The MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan fell by 0.7% following a 3% drop last week. Japan's Nikkei fell by 0.122% and South Korea's benchmark index dropped by 1.3%. Taiwan also struggled with its index down 2.3%, driven by concerns about the U.S. restrictions on chip sales following a policy document from Beijing outlining its economic ambitions. Looking at global markets, where uncertainty gripped major indices as they experienced widespread declines earlier as significant selling pressure targeted major companies and technology giants. In the U.S., Wall Street's primary indices opened lower, with investors pulling out of key chip makers and high-value technology stocks. The S&P 500 fell slightly to 5,543.37 points, and the Nasdaq Composite lost ground to 17,835.59 points. Elsewhere, the European markets mirrored the trend, with the Pan-European Stoxx 600 index dropping by 0.6%, reaching its lowest level over 2 weeks. As for our final item, let's examine the performance of precious metals amidst recent political developments, where gold prices strengthened earlier as the dollar eased following U.S. President Joe Biden's announcement of withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race. The spot gold rose by 0.2% to $2,405.40 per ounce, while U.S. gold futures climbed 0.3% to $2,407.20 per ounce. More importantly, the uncertainty surrounding U.S. interest rate cuts and political developments underpinned the rise in gold prices. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up today's market update. Stay tuned for more insights and analysis, and always stay ahead in the markets. Now let us take a look at the latest in sport news with my colleague Dana Farid.